I'm Lizi Arbogast along with Shawn and we are winding down, getting ready for playoffs this week.
Playoff basketball. It's an exciting time.
It's exciting. So district playing games start on Friday. We have Shippensburg boys going to Central Dauphin East, and James Buchanan girls going to Boiling Springs. Starting out with those two games, probably JB could have a good shot.
Yeah, they went to Boiling Springs earlier in the season and actually beat them by, I think it was 22 points. It was 50-28. Now the second time they played, Boiling Springs came out on top by 8. But JB just didn't shoot well that game.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing is they just got to get their shooters back. Charity Miller has been off a little bit here lately. I think if she has a good game and Janae Piper has a good game, they could advance to the next round.
Right. I think that the big thing for JB is just they haven't been in the playoffs in a couple
nine years.
So they don't really have that experience that Boiling Springs kind of has in a big kind of game like that. Right. Bubblers are also going to be at home, so. But I think JB has a good shot.
Yeah, it's going to be a different environment for them, but I think Jen Lauders and company will have them ready for that. It's a familiar opponent, which always helps when you're going into an environment like this. So I don't think it's going to be much different than what we saw in the regular season.
Okay. Shippensburg boys, they have a shot, I think, against CD East. They did not put up against a good showing last night in the MPC playoffs. They kind of laid an egg against Cedar Cliff. And even Ray Staver said, I just wish we had to put up. We didn't expect to beat them necessarily, but do a little bit better.
Yeah.
CD East has been struggling a little bit lately as well, so I think that there's still that edge, but the unfortunate thing for whoever wins is they go to play Cedar Cliff.
Yeah, but in Shippensburg side, I feel like they just haven't been playing their best basketball lately.
Right.
I feel like Wade Mills hasn't quite been the presence he's been. I think teams are starting to be physical with him, and the biggest thing is he's just not adjusting to that real well right now. I think that if he can adjust and absorb some of that contact and keep playing, get some of those and one buckets he was getting early in the season, that's a big momentum shifter there. And then Bryce Hastings can shoot the ball. Tegan Staver has more room to work. I think everything just kind of flows with Wade Mills and how he operates.
Right, and I think Staver's going to be looking for some other people to get them some points. I mean, being that teams are starting to key in on Wade a little bit, they're needing somebody other than Bryce and Wade to carry the load. And even last night, they sort of carry the load, Bryce being the leading scorer yet again. But Shawn Hickman's been doing well.
My boy.
He said he needs point production from Nick Jacoby as well.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, if they can just get back to kind of that swagger that they had before, I think.
Yeah, we always joke in the newsroom, I'm always joking about Shawn Hickman, but I really think he brings that outside shooting that Shippensburg really doesn't have. And when you have a big guy like Wade Mills in there, you need someone who can stretch the floor, and Shawn Hickman can do that. He can shoot the lights out. I think, sometimes on defense he's a little bit of a liability. I think maybe that's why he doesn't get the playing time.
Right.
But if he gets an open shot, he's going to make it, and that's a big deal for Shippensburg, who isn't necessarily a great three-point shooting team.
Right. Also, some playoff action, sort of. The ICC Championship, Southern Fulton finished out undefeated in both Siling Hill and the ICC, so they are going to they're going to Claysburg Kimmel to play Bellwood Antics, who is the ICC North Division winner. Not that really matters much, but again, Southern Fulton is looking to get some good playing time in before they're going to start districts probably on Thursday.
Right, and Ken Hendershaw told me some crazy stat that Bellwood Antics threw up about 43 pointers in one game.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how they defend that. Southern Fulton is a good man defense team, so man defense is the best way to stop three-point shooting, and we'll see how that works out.
Right. And then also before next week's episode will be Greencastle girls are playing on Tuesday, as will if JB and Shippensburg win on Friday. They'll play Tuesday.
Right, yeah.
And Greencastle faces East Pennsboro.
East Pennsboro, who they did beat earlier in the season at East Penn. This one will be at home for Greencastle, and if they win, they get a revenge game against Lancaster Catholic in the quarterfinals, who they actually lost to in the quarters last year. So that's an interesting thing to keep your eye on.
And finally, we have our wrestling teams are in action at the Section 1 tournament at Mechanicsburg on Saturday. All 5 of our Franklin County teams are in that. Will probably the highlights to be looking out for would be Garrett Kiner. As a junior, is a 2-time defending champion. Also going into it, JB's Casey Glunt is ranked second in the state
Yeah.
at his weight. So watch out for him. The top 3 for each weight qualify for districts, which will be next week at Hershey.
Yeah, I think Chandler Olson's a name to keep an eye on as
Yep.
well. There's several local talent who could really put on a show here. What did Casey Glunt say at the end of last year?
He was going to shock the world. That's what he told me. He was going to shock the world. So I'm expecting a state title. That's what that means to me.
No pressure.
Until next week, enjoy the games.